He's just so crap at this. Like, he's so freaking bad. And every time I try to think, like, maybe, like, could he do it? And then he does something like this. And I'm just like, bruh, get the F off the stage because you are so unbelievably bad at this. What he should have said was, there is no excuse for this attack. We understand, but the police investigation is currently ongoing, that we suspect this is anti-Semitism. That is not acceptable. We do not target any faith in this community on the actions maybe of happening elsewhere. In the same way that Muslims were not responsible for the actions of Al-Qaeda and 9/11, Jewish people are not responsible for the actions of this Israeli government and the IDF. Like, you could have said it in a way that didn't diminish the violence that had happened, which was straight up wrong, but also didn't alienate everybody else who was kind of in their own eyes watching this genocide unfold, and be honest. And you're not going to be honest enough. You're not like our friend Pedro Sanchez in Spain. You're not like Mark Carney, obviously, in Canada. You're not going to be honest enough because that's not who you are. You're not going to be honest enough to say, yes, Israel are committing a genocide, because that's not who you are. You're never going to do that, let's be honest. But you could have just done it in any other way except this. Honest, it's rare. Like I said, I'm a pacifist. It's very rare for me to genuinely throw something at the television. I was so close, and I was just like, it's an expensive TV, so I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah, there's a real inability for Keir Starmer to thread the needle, and I think it's one of those rare qualities that perhaps we don't appreciate as much as we should. And maybe it's not something that most politicians go into public life thinking that that's what they need to hone. But if you're going to be the mouthpiece of the nation, you can't say something like that and it not land in the right way. And so we're not in an age where you can just control what's being shown in the newspaper to the extent that you were able to maybe 40, 50 years ago. People can see a genocide taking place. We can see Gaza has been flattened. We can see that Lebanon is being attacked. And so to say that you can't have a pro-Palestinian march, and bear in mind, pro-Palestine doesn't mean anti-Jew, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's the distinction where they're conflating the two
Yes.
unnecessarily, right?
And dangerously.
And
It's
it's caused
insidious.
more problems, right? And so really what we need is someone that actually dampens the flames. And instead he's throwing petrol on it, which is nuts to me. And as close as we are to these UK local elections, as we spoke about last week, some people will use this up as an opportunity to make a protest vote. When I looked at the predictions for the area that I'm in, we're currently a Conservative borough. It's looking like Reform are going to win by a slight majority. So, I'm in the position where, like, if everything was equal, I probably would have voted for the Liberal Democrats. I know I can't risk splitting the vote and placing that vote there. It's going to have to be a Conservative vote to avoid Reform, or actually hope that we avoid Reform taking seat in this local council. But this is a situation that Keir Starmer has caused, and so now we're sort of looking at, whether Andy Burnham becomes the next candidate for Labour leadership, because he has been more charismatic, has spoken with more eloquence, has been able to land points far better than Keir Starmer's been able to in his time. Which again, I've said it before, but I would rather there wasn't that instability in our government. But it feels like, this guy has had every opportunity to show that he is the best guy for the job and just hasn't. Just hasn't.
He just hasn't, love.